ADHD restraint collapse is not just school children who've behaved too long in school coming home and falling to pieces. This is adults too.
Basically, what this guy is talking about is the concept of ADHD restraint collapse, where people with ADHD will often overperform at work as a way of masking some of their challenges with executive function or organization. And this overproductivity for the sake of masking is so draining that when folks with ADHD get home from work, they often don't have energy to have any life outside of their vocation. Instead, they tend to numb out and find some way to help them cope with the burnout and overstimulation that they have to endure throughout the day. And this work environment, I think, is a big part of why binge eating is so prevalent among the ADHD community. The first reason is that food can be a really great way to address stimulation needs. So a lot of people with ADHD who are turning to food to address either over or under stimulation often gravitate towards foods that provide a novel sensory experience. So these could be things that are crunchy, sour, spicy, sweet, a combination of all three of those things. They are going to want to have a big flavor and texture experience. The second thing that can contribute to this pattern is that when people are masking ADHD at work, they often overperform. So this might look like working through lunch, not taking breaks, staying late or going in early to do extra work. And when this becomes a pattern, you have less free time and less downtime to recharge. What tends to happen is that we also don't have the energy in order to do any kind of meal planning, meal prep, grocery shopping, the kinds of activities that are required in order to have nourishing, satiating, and health-promoting foods available. And so the result of this is that oftentimes the foods that are most accessible and most available are going to be foods that maybe are less satisfying, that are going to be more snackable, and also provides that novel stimulatory benefit. The third factor in this mix is that a lot of people with ADHD are using medications such as Vyvanse or Adderall in order to help them with executive function at work. Both of these medications can have a really significant impact on appetite. And so what tends to happen is that they'll take the medication in the morning, they will have absolutely no appetite during the day and might be prone to hyperfixate on a project at work, which will lead them to forget or skip meals. And so that by the time that they are home and the medication is wearing off, they are ravenous. And so if somebody has undernourished themselves throughout the whole day, they come home, they are overstimulated, exhausted, completely burnt out, and they just need to numb, and they don't have any nourishing and satiating foods available at home that are going to be easily accessible, especially given the fact that they're probably starving, then a binge is going to be a whole hell of a lot more likely, isn't it? And often my clients who come to me looking for support with this are really frustrated that very simple things such as getting to the grocery store reliably feel so out of reach. And they'll beat themselves up for having a lack of motivation or willpower or discipline, etc. But this dynamic has nothing to do with any of those things. You can't drive if you have no gas in the tank. If you are constantly overworking yourself as a way to mask your ADHD because you're afraid that you're not keeping up with everybody else, then you're always going to be in a place where you need to numb out and you're not going to have enough energy or executive function left over to take care of yourself the way that you want to. And that is why with most of my clients, the first thing that I work on with them is often not the food. It is the environment that makes their eating pattern a necessity.